Grab a cup of coffee, sit back for a moment, and let me take you back to a 1950s neighborhood, right in the middle of a summer afternoon. The screen door slams, bikes clatter on the curb, and somebody shouts, "Ready?" A hoop whips around a waist like a golden ring of sunshine. A plastic disc sails over the hedges. A cap gun pops so loud the sparrows jump from the power lines. Inside, the living room smells like TV dinners and floor wax, and the Sears catalog is dog-eared to the toy pages. This is where childhood felt endless. We won't build up to anything today. We're already in the thick of it. In the next minutes, we'll sprint through 40 toys and games every 1950s kid knew by heart. Some you'll remember by sound alone. The click of a tin robot, the rattle of marbles in a pocket, the chime of metal skates on the sidewalk. Others will make you grin like it's Christmas morning again. And a few? Well, hold on tight. Number 16 starts life as a household cleaner. Number 24 brings live insects into your bedroom on purpose. And number 31, let's just say it made every backyard feel like the Wild West. We're talking front porch America, hopscotch chalk dust on your knees, Saturday westerns on black and white TV, and a brand new space age buzzing in your ears. Fellow time travelers, stick with me. By the end, you'll swear you can smell the cardboard of a brand new board game and hear the tiny roar of a toy truck rolling across the kitchen linoleum. Picture the living room first, a black and white TV humming like a beehive, cowboy hats on the armchair, and a spaceship sketch taped to the fridge. That screen didn't just entertain, it assigned homework. Saturday westerns told kids they needed holsters, spurs, and a six-shooter that snapped like thunder. Then the news and movie reels whispered about rockets, satellites, and a shiny tomorrow. And suddenly ray guns and tin robots marched into every toy aisle. Two worlds, frontier and future, collided right there on the shag rug. Step outside and you're in suburbia, the brand new playground of America. Wide driveways, cul-de-sacs, and smooth sidewalks begged for wheels, hoops, and anything that flew. Post-war factories pivoted from metal for tanks to metal for toys, and more importantly, to plastic. Injection-molded parts made toys lighter, brighter, and cheaper, which meant more kids could own them, trade them, and wear them out before supper. The local five and dime turned into a treasure cave, the Sears catalog into a dream book you could practically smell. Advertising became the secret ingredient. Toy makers discovered the magical pipeline from TV commercial to cereal bowl to pleading eyes. A jingle during the afternoon cartoon could move whole neighborhoods to start practicing a new craze by dinner time. And crazes mattered. When one kid showed up with the latest wonder, the block learned fast. Recess became a trading floor. Marbles, cards, stickers, and playground bragging rights changing hands as fast as you could say, "Want to swap?" Parents, many of them veterans, liked toys that taught something. Building sets, chemistry kits, and model airplanes that smelled of glue and possibility. Basements and garages doubled as workshops where kids learned patience, measurement, and the magic of "I made that." Safety? Let's just say it was a different era. Metal edges, real springs, and fireworks in tiny caps. Scrapes were badges of honor, and nobody wore a helmet to ride a pogo stick. Gender lines were painted bolder then. Dolls and tea sets over here, cap guns and trucks over there. But the best toys slipped the fence. Plenty of girls loved building and racing. Plenty of boys loved crafting scenes with dolls and play sets. What tied it all together wasn't rules, it was ritual. Neighborhood roll calls at dusk, porch lights flicking on, and the eternal promise of just one more game. And when the space age met the sidewalk, that's when the hoop started twirling and a flat plastic disc began sailing over hedges like a flying saucer. Buckle up, time travelers. Our first stop is the backyard. Whip, there it goes. A plastic halo zipping around a waist like it's got its own heartbeat. Kids stacked hoops on elbows, necks, even ankles, boasting records that sounded like tall tales. You learned quick, a smooth sway, a little knee, and don't laugh or it drops. Sidewalks turned into neon rings of Saturn, and every cul-de-sac had its reigning champion. Catch! A flat disc slices the evening air, and you swear it's a flying saucer reporting back to base. One good throw, and the whole block lines up. Backhands, forehands, crazy behind-the-back stunts. Dogs leap, dads pretend they're pilots, and fences become runways. Miss the grab, and it skids under a Buick. Nail it, and you're a neighborhood legend. Click, sleep, snap back. The yo-yo turned recess into a stage. Walk the dog, rock the cradle, around the world. And that one kid who claimed he could do brain twister blindfolded. Dunkin' reps parked at the Five and Dime, handing out badges like knighthoods. You learned rhythm, you learned timing, and if you bonked your knuckles, badge of honor. Try again, better. Thup, thup, thup. The rope drums the concrete while the sing-song chant keeps time. Two friends turn, another jumps in on the beat. Miss, and the rope kisses your shoes like a referee's whistle. Double turns, sparks, squeals, and applause. Chalk lines mark the cue, and the porch rail is the coat rack for ropes beaded, braided, and beloved. Every handle worn smooth. A fistful of metal stars and a rubber ball. That's all you need. Toss, snatch, and don't flinch as the ball returns. Onesies, twosies, all the way to tensies, then the show-off rounds with fancy scoops. Kitchen linoleum, school hallways, front stoops. Every surface becomes an arena. When the ball bobbles, you reset with a grin and a little more grit. Chalk a circle, knuckles down, eye on the prize. Your shooter, maybe a cat's eye beauty or a heavy steely, thunks the target and pops it clean out of the ring. Keepsies? Oh, that's a treaty negotiated on the spot. Pockets rattle like treasure chests. Trade after trade, the glass glows in the sun, and suddenly geometry feels like a street sport. Bowing, bowing, bowing. Each bounce a heartbeat you can ride. Twin handles, rubber tip, and a dare. How many hops before you wipe out? The driveway becomes a runway, and your knees turn into springs. You learn balance the quick way with laughter for padding. Hit 10, then 20, then the world record, at least to you. Mom yells, "Dinner!" You bounce inside. Clamp them to your shoes, twist the key, and you're half kid, half comet. The wheels chatter a tinny rhythm across the sidewalk seams. One hand out for balance, the other guards that precious key hanging like a medal. You wobble, you zoom, you scrape a knee, you fly again. Streetlights flicker on, and you squeeze in one last glide. Next up, we head indoors to the workbench, where toys click, snap, and occasionally fizz. Things are about to get wonderfully hands-on. Hear that tiny motor hum? Steel girders, nuts, and bolts spread across the dining table like a city blueprint. You build a bridge, then a crane, then a Ferris wheel that actually turns. Wrenches in little hands, instructions smudged with fingerprints. It teaches patience, angles, and that magic moment when a pile of parts suddenly becomes a machine. Click. Wooden spools bite onto smooth dowels with a sound you can feel in your teeth. The pieces invite daydreams, windmills, towers, whirligigs that wobble and still make you proud. No sharp corners, just big ideas. You start with a tripod and somehow end up with a merry-go-round. Best part? Tear it down, start over, and build something taller. A frontier cabin grows from your lap outward, logs notched just right. The roof slats green as fresh paint. Forts, trading posts, whole towns march across the rug. Doors swing, fences corral, plastic cattle. And the sheriff, who looks suspiciously like a green army man, keeps the peace. The scent of wood and the thunk of each log feel timeless. Now we're modern. Plastic I-beams click into skeletons of skyscrapers. Clear panels snap on like windows catching sun. Elevators, parking garages, even little road signs. An entire downtown in miniature. You learn why triangles don't wobble and why beams carry weight. It's city planning with sticky fingers. And suddenly, the coffee table looks like Midtown. Glass vials, droppers, blue litmus that turns pink. Your basement transforms into a lab with a creaky stool. Safe-ish reactions, fizz and color change, and the instructions whisper about atoms like fairy dust. A whiff of vinegar, a pinch of caution, goggles optional in those days. You're not just mixing, you're discovering. and sometimes discovering you need to open a window. Sprues crack, parts free, and you dry fit a wing to a fuselage like a jeweler setting a stone. Tube glue threads silver cobwebs from finger to plastic. Decals slide on like badges. Clothespins act as clamps. Paint dries to a proud shine. When that plane, hot rod, or ship finally stands steady, perfect, you've learned focus in 50 tiny steps. We've built the world with our hands. Now let's get weird at the desk. Coming up, the toy that bounced out of a lab mistake, the pace that became a classroom legend, and the gadget that flat out tells your future. Pinch, pull, pop. The pink blob that never sits still. Roll it into a super ball and watch it bounce like it's got opinions. Press it onto the Sunday funnies and lift off a perfect, stretchy copy. Nose wrinkle when the face elongates into a goofy smear. It snaps like taffy, strings like spider silk, and somehow always finds its way back into that little egg. Here's the wild part. This classroom hero started life doing chores. Then somebody handed it to kids and boom, masterpieces. Soft, warm, and friendly to tiny palms, it turns kitchen tables into sculpting studios, snakes, pizzas, tiny snowmen with button eyes. Creation is just a squeeze away. The smell is half the spell, a signal that imagination time has begun and messes don't matter. A glossy backdrop, a sheet of vinyl shapes, and limitless do-overs. Stick, peel, reposition. Again and again without a trace. 1 minute it's a rocket launch pad. The next, a living room stage for superheroes. No rules, no glue, no grown-up cleanup. It teaches composition in disguise. Foregrounds, backgrounds, balance. Just with capes and moon rockets instead of chalk and rulers. Hold it like the universe is listening. Shake, flip, and peer into the little blue window. Outlook good. Your shoulders loosen. Ask again later. Suspense. Birthday wishes, report card worries, and backyard dares all funnel through that tiny oracle. Sometimes it's right, sometimes it's hilarious. But the real trick is how it buys you a few extra seconds to dream. 19. Viewmaster. Click. The lever drops and pow! 3D. A world opens inside a plastic visor. National parks and jeweled light, safari animals mid-leap, fairy tales in miniature dioramas. Reels rattle in their sleeves like treasure, numbered frames guiding you from scene to scene. You're not just looking, you're traveling without leaving the couch, collecting postcards for a scrapbook no one else can see. A pocket-sized ceremony. Push the head back. The little brick pops up like it's tipping its hat. Trade the character tops at recess. Compare collections like baseball cards and ration the candy the way a banker counts coins. The click-clack is its own kind of music, and every new head makes you feel like the club just got a secret upgrade. Set it on the top stair and hold your breath. It tips, tumbles, and then, miracle, walks itself down as if obeying a private rhythm. In your hands it hisses like rain, expanding and contracting in shiny loops. You learn tension, gravity, and patience from a coil of metal that looks too simple to be that magical, and yet it is. If the Slinky is a dancer, this is the clown who gets all the laughs. Tug the leash and the springy middle wiggles like it has opinions about the furniture. The ears flop, the tail boings, and the wheels do their best to keep up with your zigzags. It's a pet that never sheds and always forgives reckless turns. A bald cartoon face, a clear window, and iron filings that wait for your command. Drag the magnet wand and give him sideburns like a rock star, a pirate goatee, or eyebrows so dramatic they deserve their own show. One shake resets it all. It's drawing without pencils, sculpture without clay, and comedy without a script. Pure tinkering joy. A green frame of plastic and a theater made of sand. Tiny engineers tunnel like lightning, carving highways you can trace with your finger. You learn to whisper around it, as if noise might cave in the corridors. Feed them, watch them, marvel at their teamwork. It's a living diagram of patience and purpose. And yes, the coolest homework you never got assigned. Take a breath, fellow travelers. We've bounced, molded, clicked, and conjured answers from a plastic oracle. Now it's time for the Playroom's big dramas. Dolls, robots, cowboys, and a frontier fort that takes over the whole rug. A snap of tiny heels and click, the closet opens to a whole new world. Barbie arrives like a celebrity in a striped swimsuit, then vanishes into outfits that whisper careers. Fashion designer today, astronaut tomorrow. You twist her waist, swap shoes no bigger than thumbnails, and stage runway shows on the coffee table. It isn't just dress up, it's rehearsing futures. Warm bath water, a rubbery cheek, and a bottle that actually empties. Tiny tears blinks, drinks, and here comes the headline, she cries. You pat the back, find the burp, and pin a diaper with surgeon-level focus. Suddenly the playroom is a nursery. Towels become swaddles, and you're learning tenderness by trial and error. When she quiets, you feel like a pro. A squad of hard plastic heroes spills from a bag. Rifleman, bazooka, radio operator frozen mid-shout. Flower beds turn into foxholes. The sandbox becomes a battlefield of bottle-cap landmines and twig bridges. You line up formations, tug of war with gravity, then flick a pebble to simulate heavy artillery. When the operation ends, sand brushes off and the unit lives to fight another day. Dump the box and a frontier explodes across the rug. Stockade walls notch together, gates swing, flags rise. Blue cavalry and tan warriors face off around tiny campfires and cannons you roll by fingertip. It's cinematic, a whole Saturday matinee in plastic. You're the director now, cutting scenes, moving extras, and rewriting history with every clack of the palisade. Wind the key and listen. Whir, bark, shuffle. A tin chest lights up like a tiny skyline while gears mumble secrets. Rockets with lithographed flames skim tabletops. Astronauts march with stiff, brave legs. The future feels within arm's reach, powered by friction motors and a pocket full of AAA dreams. You're not just playing, you're auditioning for the space age. Pow! A paper cap flashes and perfumes the air with sulfur and make-believe. The holster creaks like a saddle. The star badge rides proud. Streets become dusty trails. Backyards turn to high noon. You learn draw speeds, stunt rolls, and the art of shouting bang from behind a hydrangea. When supper calls, the sheriff hangs his hat till sunrise. Targets line up, tin cans, a bottle cap, maybe a paper bullseye taped to the fence. Under watchful eyes, you steady the stock, line the sights, and respect the snap of compressed air. Each ping is a lesson in patience and responsibility. The backyard breathes, the day slows, and for a moment you feel older than your years. We've met the stars of the playroom. Now let's roll out the heavy movers and humming rails. The sandbox is a quarry and you're foreman for the day. Stamped steel dumpers and loaders rumble through rivers you carved with a garden trowel. The hinges feel real, the beds lift with a satisfying clunk, and wet sand spills like payload gold. You plan roads, fix traffic, and prove that heavy machinery can run perfectly on imagination and elbow grease. A fist closes around a whole garage. Pocket-sized beauties with chrome smiles and rolling axles. You launch them down book ramps, race them under chair tunnels, and stage pit stops behind the couch. Trades happen by lamplight. I'll swap my fire engine for your icy blue roadster. The world shrinks to carpet lanes, and the coffee table becomes Le Mans. 34 Lionel train. Click of the rails. Hum of the transformer. A headlight cutting through a twilight made of living room shadows. The locomotive breathes little puffs. The whistle pleads, and couplers kiss as cars connect. You lay track like a surveyor, wire switches like an engineer, and watch the whole town, depot, crossing gate, milk car, come alive. Christmas trees never look taller than from the engineer's seat. Steel, die cast, and electric dreams. Now let's deal the cards, spin the dice, and gather around the coffee table for the nightly showdown. 35. Candyland. No reading, no math, just color and wonder. You flip a card and hop your gingerbread marker through peppermint forests and sticky swamps while the room smells like popcorn and floor wax. Little siblings beam because they can play for real, and big kids secretly love the dreamy art. It's bedtime's last stand, fought with pink and purple squares. Wooden tiles clack into racks like tiny bones, and suddenly the living room turns into a newsroom. Dad hunts for a seven-letter miracle while you gamble an S to pluralize your way into glory. Triple word scores lurk like gold mines. Someone reaches for the dictionary with theatrical sighs. When a bingo hits, the table erupts like a home run. 5 dice, 1 cup, and a drum roll right in your palms. You shake like you're mixing thunder, slam the roll, and chase that all-caps dream. Yahtzee. Strategy sneaks in under the door. Do you lock a full house now or risk it all for the straight? The score pad becomes a diary of daring, from scratch-outs to triumphant exclamation points. The world spreads across the table, oceans turning into trenches you can cross with a single arm sweep. Alliances form over potato chips. Ceasefires are brokered with raised eyebrows. Kamchatka becomes a legend, and one lucky reinforcement card can rewrite history. It's bedtime? Not tonight. Empires don't sleep, and neither does the last player holding Australia. A velvet murder mystery you can hold in your hands. Footsteps echo from hall to lounge to conservatory. A candlestick glints under lamplight. You take notes like a detective, eyes narrowing as truths fall into place. When the envelope opens and you nail the solution, you don't just win, you feel like the smartest person in the house. Simple deck, big laughs, grandma deals with a wink, and somehow never draws the old maid. Pairs grow like little victories along the edge of your placemat. Got any threes? Becomes a chorus. These aren't just games. They're a shared language. Affordable, portable, and perfect for camping trips and rainy day kitchens. Cards shuffled, pencils dulled, mysteries solved, the family room cools, the TV glows, and the board lids close with a contented sigh. One last stop, fellow travelers. Let's bring it all home. Listen, the street is quiet now. A lone roller skate key taps against a doorknob. The Lionel cools on its tracks. And somewhere, a hula hoop leans like a halo against the porch. 40 toys, 40 doorways to the same backyard universe where a cardboard box was a spaceship and a kitchen timer kept the laws of time. They weren't just things. They were invitations to build, to pretend, to test your nerve, and to fail forward with a grin. And if you held any of them, even once, you still carry a bit of that fearless afternoon light. Fellow time travelers, if this trip made your heart thump like a pogo stick, do 2 quick things. Tap like so this story reaches more wanderers, and subscribe so you don't miss our next jump through history. Share your own favorite 50s toy in the comment. I'll be waiting by the porch light.